Now, I want you to meet one of those 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. He's here. He wants to just briefly talk to you. Let's give it up for First Sergeant Freddy Torres.
Ladies, good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. It's a tremendous honor and privilege to be able to stand up here and talk a little bit of wisdom and encouragement as you take the field this afternoon. Like Coach said, my name is Freddy Torres. I was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona, so just a couple hours from here. I graduated high school in 2006, and I joined the Marine Corps shortly after that. I joined the Marine Corps shortly after 9/11. It was still fresh. Our country had been attacked, and I knew I wanted to serve our country. I knew I wanted to fight. So that's what got me into the Marine Corps in 2006. In 2010, I found myself on my 3rd deployment, and Coach just talked about October 2010, where we lost 4 Marines in one day. On a couple months after that, on December 30th, I'll give you a quick story. There was another patrol out, a dismounted foot patrol of Marines, 25 Marines while out on patrol, observing a new area, talking to the local nationals, gaining intelligence, when they got the call back to go back into their patrol base, their safe area where they slept. On the way back, about 300 meters from entering the patrol base, the back of the patrol, one of the Marines walking around stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device, a roadside bomb essentially. When he stepped on it, his foot shattered. It completely broke his leg. That was a 25-pound roadside bomb that was out there that was meant to kill all 25 of those Marines. Thankfully and luckily, only about 4 pounds went off on that roadside bomb. So it shattered and broke his leg. They got that Marine out of there, got him in a truck, got him out of Afghanistan. He's fine today. Now, the Marines had a decision to make. There was still 20 pounds of explosive sitting out there that they had to blow in place so the Taliban wouldn't pick it up and use it against them. So the guy that was in charge, the sergeant, he was a squad leader, he made the decision that he wasn't going to take out 25 Marines again and go back out there to blow this explosive. So he said, I'm going to take out 4 Marines, myself, and 3 other Marines that can assist me to blow that rest of it up. So they do so. They go out there. 3 Marines go around the corner and set security overwatch while the sergeant puts the demolition sticks down and he's getting ready to pull the 60-second timer to blow it. From the east, from 200-300 meters, the Taliban had been watching. Just right before he pulled the pin on that, the Taliban opened up with their machine guns. They started spraying left and right from what they call these murder holes. They would just put their barrels down these holes on the wall and then spray left and right and hope that they would hit the Marines. As soon as the Taliban opened up with their machine guns, that sergeant looked to the east. He saw a little waist-high wall about 30 meters away, and he ran towards that direction, putting his rifle up, shooting back at the Taliban. When he got to that waist-high wall, he fell on his back, tried to get up, and he looked down, and his uniform was covered in red, realizing he had been shot twice, once on each leg. Immediately from the corner of his eye, he sees one of the Marines that was holding security overwatch sprinting to him. He runs in, grabs his scissors, his medical scissors off his gear, cuts the pants open, and blood was gushing out. His femoral artery had been shot. Immediately, that team leader, that Marine that is providing care, put his finger in the wound, put his palm in it, put some gauze in there, applied a tourniquet, and strapped it down, controlling the bleeding. Now, that team leader, that Marine, called up the patrol base and he said, I need the quick reaction force with the stretcher out here. My sergeant is bleeding out. We need to get him out of here. A couple minutes pass by. A stretcher comes out. Meanwhile, this whole time, the Taliban was still engaging with their machine guns. The Marines that were on overwatch were still engaging back and forth. They put the sergeant on the stretcher that had arrived out there, and on the count of 3, everyone said, open up with your guns against the Taliban so we can get my sergeant out of here, so we can get the squad leader out of here. On the count of 3, they pick him up, and they start moving him back into the patrol base where there was a truck ready to get him out of there. There was already a helicopter inbound for him. They pick him up, and they start moving the last 200 meters. As he's getting carried, the sergeant looks up to his left, puts his hand up, and it's his best friend carrying him, another sergeant. He holds his hand, and he says these words to him. Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. squeezes his hand one more time, and he says it again. Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. His hand falls, they get him in the truck, they get him out of Afghanistan, they get him in Germany, and the road to recovery begins. The sergeant made it. That squad leader made it to California, and he's alive today. Let me tell you the other part of that story. When he was in the hospital that first week, the doctors came to him and said, we're amputating your leg next week. By the way, here's your medical retirement paperwork. You need to sign it because you can no longer serve in the Marine Corps. You can't serve with a prosthetic. So that sergeant said, I don't want my leg amputated. Give it a couple of weeks. Let's see where this goes. Doctors were hesitant, talked about the nerve damage, the vascular damage that came with the blood, with the femoral artery getting shot. They were hesitant, but they agreed with him. They gave him a couple of weeks. And after surgeries, the road to recovery began. Got off the bed, got into a wheelchair, got off the walker, got off the crutches, started walking, jogging, running. Those 2 to 3 physical therapies a week that he was assigned to turned into 2 to 3 physical therapies a day. Every single day, grinding in and out in the gym, working hard. Now, there was a lot of setbacks and fallbacks, and there was a point where they almost went and amputated the leg because there was no progress made or the fallbacks that came. But that sergeant knew that the battalion, coming home from a 7-8 month deployment, was due back April of 2011. From December 30th, 2010 to April 2011, his challenge, his mindset, his goal was that when that plane landed in California, wherever it landed, that he was going to stand at the bottom, wherever they landed, and hug every single squad member that saved his life. A lot of challenges, a lot of setbacks, a lot of barriers, a lot of adversity. Let me tell you what. April 2011, when that battalion landed at March Air Force Base in Riverside, California, I stood at the bottom of that staircase and I hugged every single one of my squad members that saved my life on December 30th, 2010. But just in those 3 months, doctors told me that my leg was getting amputated. Doctors told me that my career was over, and now it's 2024 and I get to share this story with you. Not because I want to share it to make myself, put me up here and what I've done and what I've been through. No, because some of you have gone through something. It may not be in the football field. It may not be out there in the field. It may not have to even do with sports and injury, pain. It might be something at home. It might be something in a relationship. It might be with family. It might be with fill in your blank. Whatever you're going through, whatever you've gone through, whatever you're going to go through, because this is life. You're going to go through something challenging plenty of times. And I tell you right now, I just talked about my career and 18 years that I've been in. I don't define as a Marine. That's not what defines me. What defines me is being a child of God. 2 years ago, God brought me to my knees and he said, it's time to share this story. Because I held it in for about 12 years and there was shame and there was guilt that I carried with me. Shame because I made the decision to go out there and put that explosive down. Guilt because I left my squad alone out there for 3.5 months while I was in a hospital bed laying down, getting surgeries, trying to recover. And I felt guilt for that. And God came to me and he said, it's time to let it go. And I'm so grateful for that because now every single week I get to minister to my youth program as a youth ministry leader. Every single week I get to minister to my young adults as a young adults leader. And every single week I get to minister to a men's group at a men's Bible study group. And I'm grateful for that. Out of all of that is the most important thing. I don't have scripture to remember. I don't have these fancy words for you. I know what I've been through, where I'm at, and I know where I want to be and my relationship with God and being a child of God. Thank you again for coming out here and playing in remembrance of those 25 Marines and the banners you're going to see. You're going to walk through a banner with 25 faces, and here I thought I almost became one of them. And you're playing for them. So thank you for that. Good luck tonight. Good luck the rest of the season. God bless every single one of you.
The 3-5 Marines have a saying, and it's get some. It's get some. So when I say 3-5, you say get some. And say it loud. 3-5!
Get some!
3-5!
Get some!
3-5!
Get some!
Go get some. Go get some.